What we're gonna do right here is go back. What we're gonna do right here is go back. Go back, go back, go back, go back, go back.
Right, and welcome back to Composite Reviews. It's TJ Duckett here, and what we've got is the Gundam Fixed Figuration Bandai line. Their metal composite subgroup. This is number 0000 limited. I've never really understood their number system at all. So, I mean, you've got ones that are like 1 through 40, and then all of a sudden they're in the thousands. But anyway, this is GN-000, the O Gundam type A.C.D. This is from Gundam 00. This is kind of an alternate universe version of the RX-78, which was piloted by Amuro. I don't believe that in 00 they actually talked about the actual pilot of the O Gundam at all. It was just kind of a reference point. It was eventually piloted by the baddie Ribbons and things like that, but that's something you're going to have to watch the actual anime to kind of delve more into. But taking a look at the box here of the toy, alright, pretty standard stuff. I don't know why, since this isn't a black and white figure or anything like that, the box is so monochrome, or completely monochrome, monotone. I just don't get it. But just a couple of poses, back front, limited accessories here. Side, kind of sideways there, get the light off of it so you can actually see. Bottom, pretty much the same thing all around, same image and everything like that. So there you go, there's the box. Let's look at the figure. Alright, so taking a look at what all comes in the box here. Zoom out a little bit there. Of course you have O Gundam itself. It does come with a stand, more like a placeholder. It doesn't peg in anywhere. There's no stand. It's just simply a pedestal for him to stand on that says all the info about the toy. Okay, now looking at his actual accessories here, you have two here, because for the most part of the movie, there's no GN drive or anything like that, which is this piece on the figure. It kind of just sits in a chamber, you know, as the original Gundam. It's something that they found, they kept on board of their ship, and, you know, like I said, watch the cartoon. But, okay, you have the condenser here. It's like a replacement for the GN drive, no actual energy from it or anything like that, but it's like a placeholder. Alright? So, you'll see that this one has a sword attached to it, and it does come with a separate sword handle and spacer, and what you do, you just peg this piece. Make sure it's right side up there. It just pegs in like that. And then the sword handle just goes in right there. Okay? Or if you want it more RX-78 style, you could do both. You could have a sword handle coming out of each side. But that's not accurate to the O Gundam in the cartoon. And you're going to see on this toy there are actually a lot of pieces that are similar because it's basically the same mold as the RX-78 with minor differences to make it aesthetically the O Gundam. That's how similar they are in the cartoon even. But okay, it comes with two beams for when the saber's not there. And if you don't want anything in the sides of the back pieces, they do have these covers here as well for them. Alright, then he comes with a shield. This is the piece that tabs the shield either into, and we'll show that once we put the GN drive on. You can place that on the GN drive or his arm. Okay, there's the shield. There's his blaster cannon. Now this is a piece that I believe was intended more for the RX-78 than anything. The RX-78 comes with a bunch of cannons and things like that that actually peg into his back piece. Kind of Unicorn Gundam style. His blaster does have a tab on it, but it doesn't peg in well at all. Like, it barely pegs in. So, I don't know. Kind of shoehorned at best. But it falls off in a split second. Not something I really like. So I just keep the regular version pegged in. Alright, variety of hands here. More widely open hands for the gun. more, I guess, it's narrowly closed hands for the beam saber. And then this is like a trigger finger hand, and like I said, I believe that's for RX-78 because he doesn't have a gun with a trigger on it. Alright, so moving all this out of the way, taking a look at the figure itself. Focus there. Alright, and it is a very, very accurate Gundam. Alright, so looking at it front to back, and see, like I said, I just have the regular back piece. Alright, and before we even get started with this posability, I'll go ahead and attach the GN drive. It just pegs into his back here. Alright, so nothing crazy. Now if you want the shield on his back, you just take this piece and it pegs in there. And from there are different tabs depending on how you want to peg this into. It has two pieces that just peg in. So, get that. Sometimes it's better to do it that way first. But then you can round it around back. So, a lot of this feels very resiny. So sometimes it's better to just take things apart and put it together. But there you go. There is the Gundam. Looking at the posability here. Head, definitely on a ball joint. Okay. Sway in the shoulders. No movement in the shoulder pads. But full shoulder rotation there. Bicep swivel. Double jointed elbows. Okay. Wrists are on ball joints. Now, there is some movement in the skirts, but not very much. So, kind of unfortunate. But outside of that, his thighs are actually pretty posable. Not a lot of outward swing. And this one's not transforming or anything either, so I'm really surprised at the lack of outward swing, but he does have a bit. Now that's one thing I wanted to touch on too. See how that actually comes apart? That's from the RX-78, because the RX-78 comes with the Moro's like core fighter and stuff like that that actually goes inside there. That's not a feature that was removed for this mold. And I can't blame them because aesthetically it's still the same. It might have been unnecessary engineering or retooling that they needed to do, especially with so many versions of the RX-78 as well, and only one version of this pretty much. But okay, thigh swivel. Strong ratchet in knees. Sort of double jointed, but not really. Okay, and ball jointed ankles. Alright, and I love the springs here on the feet. If you guys can see that. Okay. So there he goes. Alright, now getting him into pose there. And we'll actually go ahead and give him a sword. Why not? So I just got to find the right hand with the more narrow. Alright, just unpeg that. Pop that out. Pop this in. And slide it underneath there. Alright, so there's that part, but let's go ahead and show off the shield too. Alright, so you just take that whole piece out that pegs in, and it actually just pegs in under his forearm there the same way. So, finding the piece where it actually pegs in, or I am wrong, you have to remove this part. And there we go. Alright, now we've got it pegged in. And the shield actually rotates, which is cool. Okay. Plants his feet a little bit better. But yeah, there we go. And actually I want to move the camera down. I know I'm pretty anal about some of these poses and stuff like that, but it's really cool to show what these toys can do. And just how cool they can look. So okay, there you go. There is the Bandai Gundam Fixed Figuration, their metal composite Gundam type A.C.D. Overall, it's an awesome toy. Really strong joints and things like that. The metal is not much. I can tell, even from playing around with it, that it's not too much. It's mostly like in the knees and legs and things like that. Kind of like a Soul of Chigoken toy almost, but without the die cast on the outside. Now, the actual plastic itself, very resiny. It's got that matte finish, which I love. It's not overly glossy or anything like that, but the colors still pop. The only thing is, handle with care and make sure not to mess with this with dirty hands. I made sure to actually use some disinfectant and stuff like that on my hands before, because it's that kind of finish that you know will, if there's the slightest bit of anything like dark on your hands or anything like that, it's gonna smear and stain this finish easily. And outside of that, with that, it's kind of not necessarily gritty feeling, but not really smooth, you know? As posable as it is, I would say because of those reasons, it's more of a display piece than anything else, which sucks because it's such a fun toy to mess around with and play around with. But like I said, if you choose to do that, just be careful. I'm a photographer, so I like to take things out and put them into different poses, take a picture, you know, all the time. So I'm not even abiding by that rule. But anyway, this is well worth your money. I paid, what, $110 for this plus shipping? Definitely a good $110 spent. But anyway, this has been another Kuma-style review. Once again, Bandai Tamashi's Gundam Fixed Figuration, their metal composite Gundam type A.C.D. See you guys next review.